First Monday of the new year of 2026. Thank you for spending part of your lunch break with us. This is Panthers 360 right here on the WPTV YouTube page. And this afternoon, we are joined by a very special guest, friend of the program, the television host for your Florida Panthers, Jessica Blaylock, fresh off of practice for your Florida Panthers, too. They're in Lauderdale, raced home for this interview, which we truly appreciate, Jessica. Welcome back to the show.
No problem. Anytime. Thank you so much for having me on.
Let's touch on that practice right now because it's kind of like a jersey game. Is Matthew Tkachuk wearing a yellow jersey for non-contact? Who else is on the ice? There was also some others on the ice. I want to talk about that first. So what did you see at practice? And Kieran Gadji was actually back on the ice, right?
Yeah, so it was Matthew Tkachuk still in that yellow no-contact jersey. Jonah Gadjevich, though, out there as well, also in the yellow no-contact jersey. But Cole Schwindt out there and in just a regular jersey. So a good chance that maybe he could be returning to the lineup soon. And Paul Maurice talked about it after practice. We know that Matthew Tkachuk will be traveling on this road trip and kind of gave an update on his health the other night during the game against the Colorado Avalanche. So a lot of encouraging updates when it comes to the health of some of these players. You know, the Panthers have obviously taken devastating blow after devastating blow really from training camp on when it comes to losing players. So to finally start getting some guys back, getting them back, out on the ice. Eetu Luostarinen returning several weeks ago, to see guys like Jonah Gadjevich and Matthew Tkachuk and Cole Schwindt out there, and to know that there is a possibility that Cole Schwindt and Matthew Tkachuk could play on this road trip. Definitely very encouraging.
You got to love getting the reinforcements back, and those are quite some reinforcements there. It was surprising to hear Cole Schwindt. I mean, he had the broken arm, but hey, our Panthers are tough here. So as we kind of assess the halfway point, a little past into the season now, a huge, and I mean huge win last night against the best team, at least in the regular season so far, the Colorado Avalanche. How'd you see the guys reacting in practice today after that win? What did you think about the win as you were in the building? After, kind of two disappointing losses, they really responded.
Yeah, that win last night was incredible, and that game had such a playoff-like feel to it, just the intensity of it. How good Colorado has been this season is honestly kind of mind-blowing. The fact that going into that game last night, they only had 2 regulation losses, that's just insane. It's an insane stat. And so the fact that the Panthers were able to hand them their 3rd regulation loss of the season, and to do it in just really impressive fashion, right? Especially defensively in the 3rd period, just locking it down, being able to bottle up Nathan MacKinnon. The Lundell line did such a great job. Forsling and Ekblad and Mikkola and all of the blue line are stepping up in the absence of Seth Jones. It was just such an impressive win. Great to see Daniil Tarasov, who obviously had to wear that one in Colorado on night 2 of back-to-back games. Some of the saves he made, especially late on MacKinnon, just the whole game was so impressive. But as far as the guys today at practice, it really is business as usual. And I know that's such a cliche term, but I think because of the success that this team has had over the last couple of years, they know the importance of not letting a tough loss stay with them. But I think they also know the importance of not riding, the high of a big win or resting on their laurels of a big win. There are so many important games coming up on this road trip, so many games that hold a potential 4-point swing with how tight things are in the Atlantic Division and just the Eastern Conference in general. You have to move on to the next game, no matter what happened in the previous one, because points are at such a premium and you just have to keep banking them. Especially leading up to the Olympic break.
Always steady, this team, this group, and they have been for quite some time now. You mentioned Seth Jones. I wanted to ask you, because we saw in the Winter Classic the injury. Any update on him? Because he was chosen for the Olympics, which we'll talk about in this interview, but any update on the Seth Jones injury front?
Yeah, so Paul Maurice said that they're listing Seth Jones as week to week, and that they do expect to have him back maybe right before the Olympic break. So I guess it's kind of, good news, bad news. Bad news in the sense that you're losing Jones for maybe a little while, but good news in the sense that he can come back and still be able to participate in the Olympics, because I think it was a really big deal for him to be named. to the Olympic team, and it would have been obviously heartbreaking for that injury to be long-term and to keep him from Olympic action. So, tough that they're going to be without him for a week-to-week basis, but encouraging that he's potentially going to be able to come back before the start of the Olympic break.
Next man up mentality. And let's go back to the Winter Classic. Yes, we didn't get the win. We responded against the Avalanche. I think we kind of took it out on them, especially defensively. But just kind of encapsulate your experience of seeing what the Winter Classic brought here to South Florida, showcasing our Panthers, back-to-back Stanley Cup champions. What was your big takeaway there? I've seen some tweets. There have been some maybe jealous fans up north of our weather. But what did you think of the Classic in its entirety for our Cats?
I thought it was absolutely incredible. And one of the things that I keep coming back to is, you see these renderings leading up to the start of the Winter Classic, and you have this expectation of what you think it's going to look like. And then the reality of it just blows your mind. I walked in on that Thursday practice day into the ballpark, and obviously I have a ton of familiarity with Lone Depot Park because I covered the Marlins for 10 years. Just seeing the way the ballpark had been transformed, all of the hard work that went into it, how amazing the uniforms looked out on the ice, kind of the opening ceremonies, if you will, before the game, the snow falling. I thought it was absolutely incredible. The way the fans showed up and showed out, how loud the fans were screaming red in the national anthem. The arrivals, right? The way the guys arrived and how many people were lining the streets, how many Panther fans were lining the streets waiting for the boys to arrive. I thought every single second of it was absolutely incredible. And for anybody who was complaining about Florida having a Winter Classic, I'll say exactly what I said in the tweet that I posted. You know what? Keep complaining. We're going to keep enjoying our comfortable temperatures in January and our back-to-back Stanley Cups. So totally fine. I don't care what anybody else thought. I thought this was an amazing event for the NHL, an amazing event for the Florida Panthers, and such a great representation of the fan base here down in South Florida. Panther fans were awesome. They were loud. They were proud. They showed up. And there was not an empty seat in the house for that puck drop.
It was unique. I mean, from the sports car entries, as you said, I mean, and I'll join in those chirps with those fans up north that had a problem with it. We had a lot of fun with it. And
we have winter too down here in Florida. It just looks a little bit different.
We get in the 40s here. Come on, feel sorry for us, Canada. No, so from that, parlaying this into the Olympic Games. By the way, I don't know if you've heard, I'm honored to announce that I will be, with my teammate Megan McRoberts here at WPTV, traveling to Milan to cover the Panthers.
That's amazing.
Yes,
amazing.
We're going to be touching base. The organization has been great about, setting up some player interviews, their families, just the whole, NHL experience in Milan for the players playing there. We have great representation. 9 players for the Panthers.
Yeah.
I actually just read Jordan McPherson tweeted that there's a Charlotte Checkers player that's actually joining Juvis Balinskis on Team Latvia. So the reach is huge, not only the players, but General Manager Bill Zito, and we have some coaches as well. Give us your thoughts on the picks. There is one omission, and it is a hot topic right now. And, and there's been some really gracious responses and replies, and everybody's kind of playing nice. But Sam Bennett being left off Team Canada is a snub in many people's view.
Yeah, well, we leave it up to the players to be gracious because, of course, that's how they're going to approach it. But we get to tell everybody what we really think, which the fact that Sam Bennett was left off of the roster for Team Canada, I think is a crime, right? Like a tragedy. Because Sam Reinhart said it perfectly when he was asked about it the other day. He said, all I can speak to is my teammate, Sam Bennett, and he's a guy that I would go to war with. And Sam Bennett shows up in the biggest moments, on the biggest stages, and he proves it. He's proven it time and time again in the playoffs, for the Florida Panthers. We saw it in the Four Nations face-off. He's such a unique player in the sense that you have a highly skilled forward, but plays such a physical brand of hockey. There's not a lot of guys like that around the league. So I do think, not having Sam Bennett on Team Canada is a big miss. I really do. But I am really happy for, Brad Marchand, who got the nod. He's certainly deserving of it. Again, happy for Seth Jones, who got the nod for Team USA. He's deserving of it. The fact that we're going to have 9 Panther players representing their respective countries. We talked to Uvis Balinskis today, and there's just so much pride there. It's such a huge opportunity to get to wear a sweater that has your country across the front of it, and so for these players, for these staff members, for Bill Zito, for all of the people that do get to represent the Florida Panthers, I'm thrilled. But yes, heartbroken, for Sam Bennett that he doesn't get the opportunity to represent Team Canada, and still heartbroken for Alexander Barkov that, he's not going to be able to physically play for Team Finland. I know he'll be there. He'll be part of all the festivities. He'll be probably like having another coach on the bench. But still heartbroken for Barkov that, things played out with the injury the way that they did, and he's not going to be able to participate in the games.
Yeah, he would be out there. Even if he could tomorrow, because he was skating around the Winter Classic. We're like, whoa, what are you doing? And he's just, it's our captain.
I mean, he is superhuman. I wouldn't put it past him to be able to play for the Olympics, but, obviously you got to do what's best for everybody, and including Barkov himself. So.
Oh, yeah. But listen, we remember the 2014 Sochi shootout. TJ Oshie became an overnight American hero. I can only imagine what Matthew and Brady Tkachuk are thinking right now, getting ready for the games. We've heard their podcast, and it's going to be a spectacle. And the players for the Panthers that are going to be there, they're going to represent, and they're going to be all out. And they're not going to see Panthers jerseys. They're going all out for their home countries, too. Balinska said as much in Media Day, so it should be very interesting. I can't get you out of here, Jessica, without a shout out to your love for dogs, your love for adopting senior dogs, and our buddy Mario.
He's been sitting in my lap the whole time.
Always an advocate for not only a pet adoption, but senior dogs. They need the love too, and Mario's, he's a good dude.
I mean, I honestly, if you had told me that I would have had over 2 years with this guy when I first adopted him at 15, I would have probably been shocked. But it's just, honestly, it's such a testament to what love can do, and what giving love to an animal, how it can bring them back to life, right? And it's so important to me, and it's so important to my heart, because animals deserve love too, and they deserve to be taken care of, and cherished. And so every day that I get with him is such a huge blessing. And yeah, he's still got sass. He still communicates when he needs something. I walked in the door and he immediately started crying because he knew I was home and he wanted to be held. And so he's been in my lap with me this entire interview. And yeah, thank you for always giving me the opportunity to shout out how important animal adoption, and specifically senior adoption, is, because it really does make a difference, not only in the lives of these animals, but in the lives of owners, because he's been a huge blessing and huge source of love and comfort for me as well.
Love seeing what makes Jessica tick. Mario, a fan of the show, a friend of the show right here. That's your television host for your Florida Panthers, getting a behind-the-scenes look and big updates, too, from practice. Jessica Blaylock, we truly appreciate your time. Hey, folks, we do this every Monday, 12:15 on our WPTV YouTube page. You can get your questions, comments in. Share this page. We are ramping up for that second half of the season, and every puck drop is more important than the last. Banking those points. Listen, every Wednesday at 7:30 on South Florida's 9, you can catch the whole Panthers 360 show. I want to thank you so much, folks, for tuning in. Let's get it the rest of the day. First Monday of the new year. Go out and get it, folks, and let's go Cats.